Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, little of your shills, dead slavers, peasants, vassals, minions. God, wasn't that hard getting through that 2 seconds? I'm a useful idiot. Welcome, and today we're going to talk about Libya. And things in Libya have gotten really interesting this last couple of weeks with the reintroduction of General Khalifa Hifler. And he has launched a coup, and this is a second coup. His first coup back in February failed. But this one seems to be doing a lot better, and one of the reasons it seems to be doing better is it seems to have mysteriously come up with a lot of heavy equipment to use against his adversaries, which are the Islamist militias. And just last week he stormed Parliament in Tripoli and attacked militia camps in Benghazi. So not only is he on the offensive, but he's striking multiple locations simultaneously. And interestingly enough, this new offensive comes 4 days after 200 U.S. Marines were stationed in Sicily as a Libya crisis response team. And between the fact that we have U.S. troops there within days of this new coup being launched, and then we also have the background of General Khalifa Hifler in the United States and working with the CIA, it pretty much looks like we have another situation where we have a U.S. puppet moving in to take care of the chaos in Libya. And just as a foreign policy move, this would make sense for the United States as well to use some operatives and some of these exiled leaders like General Hifler to go in there and basically do the dirty work that the United States really is not at liberty to go in there and do without having more egg on its face on this over this so-called NATO success. And this General Khalifa Hifler was a suspect in the assassination of a Gaddafi general, and then who defected to the rebels in 2011. And he returned to Libya in 2011 for the intervention, but had little presence there apparently in the fall of Gaddafi. And but he lived in Washington, D.C. for decades, and within a stone's throw of all the intelligence apparatus of the United States. He previously had commanded Gaddafi's failed invasion of Chad, so for a long time he was a loyalist for the Gaddafi regime. He was captured in Chad, and that is where he ended up making his connection with the CIA. And his goals stated for Libya are to impose order and rein in the militias. And the U.S. denies involvement, and that's once again all the more reason to believe they are behind this General Khalifa and this new move. And other things seem to be lining up in General Khalifa Hifler's favor as well, because we have the Libyan Air Force Base in Tobruk declared allegiance to Hifler, and other paramilitary groups in the east and west are lining up too. And that's another thing that bespeaks to me that there's probably U.S. involvement, because the fact that some of these disparate ex-military groups around the country are now lining up shows that there's probably a lot of U.S. money being thrown around buying the allegiance of these groups to perpetrate what the United States would like to see there now, which is the chaos to subside, a new military dictatorship, and for the oil to start flowing again. And interestingly enough, Gaddafi had 100,000 troops in the military that are still getting paid by the government, but just don't show up for work. And so I'm not really sure what it would take to motivate a lot of those people. But apparently the ex-Gaddafi military is waiting in the sidelines, at least for now. So let's see how much more support this General Khalifa Hifler can put together in this coup attempt in Libya. And Libya's future looks to be either a military dictatorship or another failed state like Somalia, and so much of everything else we see. And we could also see fragmentation yet of Libya. And this is a kind of a global trend of fragmentation. and a lot of it has to do with rectifying old colonial borders and the clashes that they've created all through the ex-colonized world. And the same thing we see in Libya. And I don't think it could be put better than the author of the article I used for source in this, Justin Raimondo. And he said that, quote, Libya isn't going to be a place where anything resembling progress, democracy, liberalism, or anything remotely resembling them is going to take root in the next 1,000 years. It is a hellhole and will remain one no matter how much money is spent or how much blood is spilled. And it isn't within the power of U.S. policymakers to change that. We don't belong there, and we never will, unquote. And that is certainly true. Unfortunately, all what it took to hold a country like that together was a brutal dictatorship that actually benefited most of the population to a great degree. That society is shattered now. The country is overridden with extremists and militias, and a lot of people with completely disparate agendas and awash in guns that are ending up all over the Middle East. And as a footnote to this whole situation in Libya and this travesty that continues to go on, I do want to mention that I generally played down the Benghazi scandal. For me, there's a lot of political opportunism going on surrounding it, and I know that all the charges are true. I mean, the Obama administration, Hillary Clinton, and all of them are scum, and they're guilty as charged. But I just see this as business as usual, and I think America should be more outraged that there was a NATO intervention in Libya at all, or the fact that this CIA gun-running operation was going on out of that consulate in Benghazi, and the diplomats that are in that environment are probably CIA intelligence assets. And it's not these celebrity donor socialites that get the plush ambassador jobs around the world. This was a war zone, and in that case, we have instant results of having a intelligence CIA / military operation going on in using the U.S. ambassador and U.S. consul and U.S. staff. And that's proven by the fact that we have connections between the particular Islamist group that was hired to do security for the Benghazi consulate and connections to this same General Khalifa Hifler, and that's the February 17th Martyrs Brigade, they're called. And this is the same group that was hired by the State Department to guard the Benghazi CIA station, and also the same ones who were used to protect an assassinated general directed by General Khalifa Hifler. So, interesting situation. So here's once again Libya, NATO's huge success, descending into further chaos. It has been ever since the intervention, and now we have what appears to be a new U.S. puppet unleashing yet another bloodbath on Libya, and Libya's future holding either yet another military dictatorship that's probably going to be worse than Gaddafi, and or a failed state, which seems to be the legacy across this region and across the globe. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.